Good morning, sir. Good morning, panel.
Good
Hi,
morning.
good morning. Good morning. How are you, Srishti?
I'm very good, sir. Thank you.
Good, great. You play lawn tennis? Hello, Srishti?
Yes.
You play lawn tennis?
Yes, sir. I play lawn tennis.
Good, I'm impressed. And you were awarded National Merit Certificate.
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow. You played lawn tennis at national level. That's fantastic.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And you have been president of the Youth Parliament also.
Yes, sir.
Then why did you not want to become an MP? Why did you come to civil services?
Yes, sir. Sir, at Youth Parliament, what we were basically engaged in were a lot of discussions and deliberations. But sir, during that time, I thought that I would be a much better civil servant than I would be a politician representing India. The Indian Parliament was an equally very warm opportunity. But sir, my skill sets present me that I could actually showcase myself at a much better self in civil services, sir. That is why I opted for civil service.
Good, great. Now we are having, apart from me, three distinguished members in this panel. We have Mr. Jendram, who is one among the senior most journalists from the state of Tamil Nadu. And
Yes.
we have Mr. Ambalavanam, Director General from Indian Audit and Account Service. And we also have a very senior and seasoned officer from Indian Police Service, Mr. Anup Jaiswal. So all of them will be interacting with you, and I will be just observing, how the interaction takes place. Okay.
All
So
right.
this time, can we start with Mr. Rambalavanan?
Sir, good morning, Srishti. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so you're a tennis player.
Yes, sir.
Any interesting programs happening now in tennis?
So Wimbledon currently is happening, sir.
Okay. So, do you think that Indians are playing? Some of our Indians are playing in Wimbledon. Will they make it to the finals, semi-finals?
Sir, I think we have some great talent at Wimbledon. Sir, our Olympic team also. So Sania Mirza is representing at Wimbledon. So, sir, I think we all should pray that we definitely won not just the Grand Slam, but the Tokyo Olympic gold medal as well, sir.
Okay, very good. So, if we want to improve tennis in our country, so we need to have infrastructure, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So, can you suggest some ways how do we improve tennis in our country?
Yes, sir. So, firstly, I think in India there is a saying. So that is in Hindi. So I will say it in Hindi, sir. खेलोगे पढ़ोगे तो बनोगे खराब and पढ़ोगे तो बनोगे नवाब. This means, sir, that if you play a lot of games, etc., you will basically become a not useful member of the society. But if you study, you can contribute well. And because of this, sir, I think there is a lot of stigma attached with the sports. Parents are often reluctant to send their young students to sports. So firstly, I think, sir, the mindset needs to be changed. On the infrastructure front, sir, I think there has to be investment in basic development of the infrastructure, like, sir, in tennis. We need to have tennis academies sponsored by the local Delhi government or respective governments, sir. Basic paraphernalia, including tennis balls, rackets, etc., along with coaching, needs to be provided, sir.
Okay. So, do you believe that the sports development in our country will improve the overall development of human development in our younger generation?
So I think sports is a very important part of everyone's life. We say health is wealth. So investing in sports will definitely work on one of the very important pillars of the entire human resource, that is health, sir. So we all should work, contribute in nation building via the process of sports as well, sir. So definitely sports can help, sir.
Okay. So now let us, can you explain the situation where our economy is? What are the problems which our economy is facing? Indian economy, I'm talking.
Yes, sir. So in COVID times, it was the first time that Indian economy entered into technical recession, sir, in 2020. So we saw that our GDP figures were minus 7.7% as per RBI data, sir. So that is one thing that now we have to kickstart our growth. That is something important. So secondly, we see that government has actually given a lot of impetus in terms of the fiscal expansionary policy. And now this has led to offshoots of the fiscal deficit, which are being increasing. So in 2020, it was 9.9% of the GDP. Again, a quite high figure, sir. Then, sir, now inflation is also a major problem, sir. We have 6.3% in CPI inflation, that is Consumer Price Index. But sir, despite all this, I think we have seen very positive signs of growth in Indian economy, be it in foreign exchange reserves or stock market. So sir, I'm very sure that we all can come out of this technical slowdown in the short term on a very good pace, sir.
We read in the newspaper that many MSME sector is suffering and lots of jobs have been used and people are jobless, employment is wanting. So what is, how do we address this issue?
Yes, sir. So MSME is one sector that has unfortunately become one of the great victims of the COVID pandemic. So it is important that government provides a lot of scope, like in terms of the finance, which is required by MSME sector, so that the firms do not close up and also the workers are not laid off, sir. So first I would say, sir, financial impetus both by the central government and the respective banks, sir, is required. Secondly, so schemes like Atmanirbhar Bharat also have to be increased so that all the MSME sectors and the provisions which are entailed for them actually are implemented on the ground, and MSMEs can take benefit of that, sir. So it is important that we may connect them with supply chain and provide them the required paraphernalia, sir.
Okay,
Good.
so,
That's very
so is it okay, sir?
Can we go to Mr. Jaiswal?
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Jaiswal, please.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jaiswal, are you able to hear me? Okay. Can I pass on to Mr. Jendra? Later we will come to Mr. Jaiswal. I think there is some connectivity problem. Madhavi, I think they have not unmuted themselves.
Good morning, Mrs. T.
Good morning.
Do you think female sports is encouraged in India?
So female sports is, sir, what, sir? I did not hear it, sir.
Yeah. Do you think female sports is encouraged in India?
Sir, I think if I am sitting here, sir, as a national level player, so definitely a lot of parents are actually willing to send their girls to sports. So in badminton, we have PV Sindhu, sir. In tennis, we have, sir, Sania Mirza. And so Deepa Karmakar, I think the list goes on. But sir, you have correctly said that we need to encourage that a lot more girls are given their opportunities and dues to present India at the international level. And so win lots of gold medals for the country.
Comparing women cricket and men's cricket, we can find the difference. Like that, in all the sports, we are finding the difference. What's the reason?
Yes, sir. So what you have said is absolutely correct. So I think the major reason is first the viewership. Like in cricket, sir, the entire country is very excited about the men's cricket team that is working. So either in terms of World Cup, etc., and a lots of less media coverage is given to women players, sir. So since I'm in tennis, I can personally share one example from that, sir. There was recently a report released which said that whenever we search on Google who are the most best tennis players of all times, the top 5 players are males, sir, irrespective of the fact that we have legends in females like Steffi Graf and Serena Williams. The major reason was given that, sir, the media covers male tennis player on their profile on tennis, but in female, so they're covered on their family issues, on what they're wearing, etc. So this can also be another issue.
Okay. Judges should not be swayed by the emotional pitch of the public opinion through media and social media platforms. What do you think?
So I think it is absolutely correct that mob justice cannot become judicial justice. But sir, I think judges, like all of us humans, have hearts. And so being compassionate about justice delivery, in my opinion, sir, is not wrong. In fact, we have to be humane while we are delivering justice, simultaneously respecting the rule of law, sir.
Rule of law.
Yes, sir.
So what's the difference between rule of law and rule by law?
Yes, sir. So rule of law is, so can I think, sir, for a second, sir?
Okay,
Thank you.
please.
So in my personal opinion, sir, rule of law is when you're actually just working with the given set of laws. But in rule by law, you are using law as an emancipatory tool to also uplift the members of the society. So, sir, I think it's a more positive connotation vis-a-vis rule of law, sir.
Oh, okay.
That I think is a very, very brilliant answer. Sir, please continue.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. What's the position of women in our family structure in the light of recent suspicious deaths in Kerala, dowry deaths, and other suicides?
Sir, I think that unfortunately we are a patriarchal society.
I have changed my channel. Hello.
So should I continue, sir?
There was a Wi-Fi
continue,
issue.
please.
Please
continue.
Come back.
All right, sir. So I think India is a patriarchal society, and that patriarchy is unfortunately manifested in family relations also. So like the common notion, man is the breadwinner, but women are the homemakers. So sir, it is something that I think we should work on. Also, so the Kerala issue that you mentioned. So there was recent suicide by a very young 24-year-old girl named Vismaya. And so I think in this issue, it is very imperative that we do a very impartial judicial proceeding, and the culprit should be brought to book, sir, because this is a complete violation of the law and also the humanity principles, sir, that we have, sir.
In Kerala, there is a 50% reservation for women in local body selection. They are a developed state in India also. Even in that stage, in spite of all these things, women are not empowered there. What does it show?
So it shows that on one hand, we are giving them benefits, but they're actually not able to reap those benefits, sir. So on one hand, we have given them a platform, but on the very other hand, so we are curtailing their freedom by getting them engaged in household responsibilities. Sir, if you can allow, sir, I would like to share a personal incident, sir. Can I share it, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Sir, I recently saw the Malayalam movie, The Great Indian Kitchen. So that's basically based on Kerala family structure, sir.
Yeah.
So, sir, it shows that the women, the protagonist, is so much of an educated postgraduate women. But when the question comes of her joining a job, there was, sir, a subtle way of saying no to her, sir. So basically, to empower children and to give birth was labeled as the responsibility. So, sir, I think this is the major problem that persists.
Okay.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting. No, all the best. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Can I request Mr. Jaiswal, please?
Yes. Good afternoon, Shristi.
Good
I've been
afternoon.
hearing you. This view on atrocities of women or patriarchal system have been often talked about. See, my experience has been that India is a vast country, 30 crore or 35 crore people. By coming with anecdotal and then generalizing, we have few anecdotes in Kerala. There was a Nirbhaya case in Delhi. By giving one anecdote and wide publicity, we make it appear as if every part of India there is atrocities on women. Personally, what should be the way of studying it out in a more, which should really reflect the condition in India instead of going by anecdotes? I think that's a very, very strong requirement for the society, especially as a police officer. Now, have you made any choice for opting for IPS and all that?
Yes, sir. So it's my fifth preference, sir.
So back down in the preferences, but you have any idea what a role, especially not as a police officer, but as a woman police officer you can have in the Indian Police Service?
Definitely, sir.
Please.
Yes. So I think being in women police service, the first and foremost job will be to ensure that we have a seamless process with extreme sensitization on such issues, that women come forward to report the grievances, sir, be it dowry case, marital violence case, etc. Sir. So firstly, we need to empower women to actually come into the police stations and report. So second will be to sensitize the entire police machinery, the hospital machinery, wherever such victims are treated. So third important issue is that being in police service, we have to make sure that all the dark lit areas of the areas, which are very unfortunately famous for such crimes like rape,
No,
etc.
I understand. These are what we call the hackneyed answer. These are the newspaper reports. You think there's atrocity there? Men are suffering as much of crime as women. If you look at the figures of murder cases in India, the number of women murdered are far less than men murdered. So it is not that men are not suffering, men are not scared of going to the police station. Only women cannot go to the police station. And by lighting up dark areas, you will prevent women from. See, dark areas, 90% of India is dark. You are only talking of Chennai, some areas should not be dark. 90% of the India after sunset is dark. Or I should even say 95% area of India after sunset is dark. But women are moving around. Social protection is not that just because there's dark, every woman is threatened. So these sort of images, which more I feel Indian, the newspapers are portraying as because they are saleable thing. But actual study on the situation of crime, I don't think much distinction can be made between men and women suffering. What is your reaction to my?
Yes, sir. So I think what you said, that men also suffer atrocities, is something which I definitely agree to. So both the sexes are vulnerable and they have their own set of difficulties. But sir, being a woman, what I would say is, sir, that women are also subjected to some extra restrictions, some extra atrocities, just like a male counterpart, sir. For example, sir, dowry. The pressure of dowry is often on the head of a girl, not much on a
But
man.
but I'll intervene. But often I have found the demand of the dowry comes from the mother of the boy. So the woman is equally involved in dowry. Don't say that only men demand dowry and women's mother of the boy, who is a woman and who has understood the sufferings of women as a woman, she is far ahead in demanding dowry for his boy, for her boy.
So in fact, what you have said, you have pointed out a very important issue, that ultimately women themselves become perpetrators of patriarchy, sir. When a mother-in-law expects her daughter-in-law to give a son as a heir to the family and not a girl, clearly shows, sir, that initially patriarchy starts with women as victims, but later on we see, sir, a lot of very unfortunate women, they also become perpetrators of it. So, sir, the root cause, if we have to address this, that the notions of it and so gender equality all have to be promoted, sir. So we have to change our basic idea from Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao to Beti Aake.
No, why only talk of Beti all the time? बेटा भी अगर अच्छा बन जाएगा तो बेटी पर atrocity नहीं करेगा.
So I think this is perfectly right, sir. We need to teach our sons that crying is not synonymous to weakness, sir. We often say that boys don't cry. And because of that, sir, on their shoulders, huge responsibilities are...
Anyway, thank you. These are the good... you are reflecting on it, and I hope you will keep reflecting on it. And now coming to some more areas, because though we may not be opting for police, but you are aware of the general security situation of India within and from outside.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of something called terrorism, and would you like to enlighten me why? Because this is one word used day and night in the media. Terrorists from Pakistan, terrorists from Afghanistan, terrorism here, terrorism there. Even small actions by a small girl writing something on the internet is treated by the government at times as a terrorist activity. Who is a terrorist? How do you define it?
So internationally and even nationally, there is not a much accepted definition of terrorism, sir. But I think a terrorist, in my very limited knowledge, sir, can be defined as a person who aggravates a crime against humanity at large, threatening the national security and international principles of humanity.
Again, cliches and words and words and words. lot
But
of
we should
sound and
appreciate. But we should
uh,
appreciate the young girl has
I
come out with a lot of
very,
good
very, very
definitions.
good. No, no, definitely. It is no, I do understand that it's very difficult these areas to know. But
True.
by posing difficult questions, sometimes you get the aha answers.
Yes, yes. No, no. We will now go to the most important aspect of this mock interview, Srishti.
Yes.
Mr. Ambalavarnan will point out what he sees as your strengths and further areas to be strengthened, followed by Mr. Jaiswal and Mr. Jendram, and then I will have some observation. Mr. Ambalavarnan, please.
Okay, sir.
You have done very well, Srishti. You could able to react very fast and you could able to answer very fast. I feel that you should give little slower, sometimes answering the questions, because you are literally bombarding sometimes. So slightly slow down. It would be much more nicely presented. I mean, it would look as it is. You are doing very well, and you can do that. That would be a great thing. Yeah. Very nice.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Jaiswal.
I'm very happy with Srishti. I like somebody to hit back, argue back. That is what I say. Srishti, this interview is not, I'm not trying to test your personality. Many times I'll try to throw you off balance.
Yes, sir.
While speaking, you may utter something which at your age and my age, everybody pick up here and there. So that gives me a handle to make you slip.
Yes, sir.
And if you come back to balance, it goes in your credit.
Yes, sir.
So interviewing officer or interviewing authority trying to throw you off balance, totally disagreeing with you, these are not to show that you are wrong or right, merely to throw you a bit off balance. It's good fun for me also.
Yes,
Because
sir.
interview cannot be monotonous and boring. It's good fun
Very
for
true. And to see you, and to see how you react, when we provoke you. Mrs. Jaiswal in my team is doing an excellent service because provoking the candidate is one of the most important functions, which is doing very well.
So,
And
sir,
Mr.
my
Jendram,
behavior was all right, sir. I want to ask that,
perfectly.
sir.
No, perfectly okay. Don't change your behavior.
Okay,
Otherwise,
okay.
you will be a bundle of contradictions. You
So, sir, it
behave.
was fine, sir.
No, fine or not fine, I'm not saying. Be yourself. I'm not going to change your personality in 2 days. Be yourself, be your cheerful self, keep smiling, which you're doing very well. Be it right or wrong, that's not an issue.
All right.
All the best.
Jendram,
Thank
Mr.
you, sir.
Jendram.
You have done very well, Srishti. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You see, I want to tell you that when your answers are very good, and you're a student of Shriram College of Commerce, right? So
Yes.
heads out to the students and heads out to the college. I have some experience about that college as well as the students. They pick up the best, and therefore, no wonder they give the best results. Now, when you talked about the question on fiscal policy, you were talking about the stock market doing very well. Stock markets are doing very well are not necessarily indicator of a healthy economy, which was pointed out very politely by Mr. Ambalawanan when he asked you a question about SMEs. Because MSMEs, they contribute almost 60% of our export either directly or indirectly. Now, that is a sector which has been completely betrayed by the government during this COVID-1 and COVID-2, first wave and second wave. Now, we cannot make use of such strong word as betrayed, but we should say the government should have taken more sincere efforts because one thing you understand, helping MSMEs is not helping them. It is helping us, this nation, from stopping this nation from going to other nations for begging and borrowing. And that is an area which is a very important area. So when you talk about fiscal policy, you always try to talk about inclusive growth, which is very
Yes.
important. Okay. Okay. Now, I liked your answer about the when Mr. Jaiswal provoked you, women also demand dowry, and you very beautifully answered. But it is because of the patriarchal nature of the society that women also believe in that patriarchal thing. Like in the villages, it is not uncommon to see that the male child is fed better by the mother in the hope that ultimately he is going to take care of her, which most of the times is not the case. But then that is a belief, that is a faith. I really liked your answer, and I think generally, you have answered very well, and you have really scrapped through the difficult question by Mr. Jendram about judges being influenced by public opinion. when you said judges have to be human, but they have to be within the boundaries of law. That was really a very good answer. I think.
Thank you,
Now,
sir.
you want IFS as your first choice, okay?
Yes.
Now tell me, how strong is India's external policy in
Sir,
terms of
sorry.
the results produced? How
Sir,
strong? How strong is India's external affairs policy in terms of results obtained?
all right. So, India's foreign policy, if I talk about, one of the recent landmarks that we have done was Vaccine Maitri, in which we said we believe in the ideology of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and the idea that we are not safe until everyone is safe. So, being a very young developing economy, we still had a big heart to donate vaccines to more than 90 countries in the world. That I think, sir, is one of the major laudable steps that we have taken. India is now seen as the leader of the developing world. And we also are very strong contenders, not just in a permanent seat for the UN Security Council, but so also we have garnered a lot of support for entry in NSG group. So thirdly, I think India is now at the forefront because we lie at the heart of Indo-Pacific. And now we see the geopolitical importance given to the area, the rise of Quad, the containment of China, all have given India, I would say, a major breakthrough opportunity to become not just a balancing power, but a leading power, as our external affairs minister have recently said. So, sir, I think Indian diplomacy is going on a very a good trajectory, and soon, so we could surely reap the benefits of it, sir.
Okay. Now, we have not believed in that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We only said it because Bhutan is one country which has been so much of a good neighbor to us, and we have stopped the vaccines to Bhutan at a very critical time. Now, European Union is thinking of sending some vaccines. You should be very careful about this answer because your first choice is foreign service. No,
Okay, sir.
what you should say is in today's world where economic power dominates the most as the most influential power in determining international relations, that country with vast economic power is bound to have many countries under its orbit of influence. You know, our external affairs policy, be very careful in answering because when I
Yes.
asked you in terms of its success, what are your what's your answer? We have failed in Sri Lanka. We could not contain Sri Lanka from allowing China to come right up to our border.
Yes.
Why? Why? Because as I told you, international relations are determined by the relative economic power and such other equally important factors such as ethnic and geographical proximities. These are also important. Now, India wanted to be not a superpower. We wanted to be a regional power. And we have a big competitor in China. Now, the best policy in such issues is find out your enemy's enemy and befriend that enemy's enemy. Now, today, China is a threat, economic threat to Western Europe and Northern America. And therefore, in order to maintain their established order, they are trying to hold against China. So, temporarily, there are no permanent enemies or permanent friends in international relations or in politics. Temporarily, we may have to align with the West. But ultimately, what is going to strengthen us? The Indian diaspora in various parts of the world, having good relation with them, finding out how much they can influence the respective countries where they live in. This is what Israel has done very successfully, number one. And number two, to mend fences with China. It's important to us. We have seen that they are star miles ahead of us in certain areas. It will be very difficult for us to have China permanently as an enemy because mending fences with China will make Pakistan mend fences with India. See,
Yes.
this is an important necessity. Therefore, this particular issue, 90%, I'm sure they are going to ask you about external affairs policy. And at that time, you should say, you see, very bluntly speaking, India is rather helpless, but it is not because of India. Geopolitical, economic factors are what determines a nation's relative strength in international arena. So these are changing things. You see, the political and economic strength are changing things. Nothing is permanent about it. Therefore, today we may not be in the best of situation, but we are laying foundation to make ourselves be present in the best of situation. So you try to talk to your professors. JNU, they have got some excellent professors or international relations. When is your interview? Has it been fixed up?
So 16th August.
16th of August. So you have a lot of time, more than a month. Try to meet one or two professors and ask some deep questions about our external affairs, policy,
Okay.
program, objectives, etc. That will help you very much. We are all very happy with you, and we do believe that we will see you as ambassador not in the very distant future. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the time.
Have you any questions to ask us?
Sir, just that, sir, you think I was fine, sir, right? This is my first interview. I have never appeared in front of any other board, sir. So you think it is fine, or I should work on some areas, sir? Because I have a lot of time in hand. So, sir, do you suggest anything?
Listen, you have the gift of gab, and therefore, you cover up your deficient areas. But what you should do, improve your knowledge in such a deficient areas. Mr. Jaiswal, very intentionally, he provoked you. What's the intention? To make you understand you are very good in answering, be what you are, but at the same time, you try to be narrow in on the basic issue. In certain questions, you really narrowed in on the basic issue. Like when he challenged you, what about women? Women are also demanding dowry. You came out with the most beautiful answer. Yes, but then the issue is it's a patriarchal society. Women are influenced by what is all around them. This is a real thing. So you have really hit the nail on the exactly on the nail's head. You have hit it. Now, similarly, a few other questions also. While you have answered very well, and you have left no room for the interviewer to further question you. But at the same time, I think you can do a little more reading about the fiscal policy, for instance. Mr. Ambalavan's question is very important. Women's sport in general and women's cricket in particular, what more can be done to make that more attractive than what it is today? It has already started getting attractive. It's getting attention. But do you think that something more can be done? Like, I have a very mischievous grandniece. I was trying to provoke her. I said, these days I don't find many women on on the steps to go to the next floor. I don't find so. Why is it so? And then she very beautifully said, Uncle, that's because we choose the elevators instead. You guys are walking up, but we have chosen the elevator, right? So
Yes.
this is a kind of bright answer that comes immediately, which carries a lot of weight. But if you say something, back it up with the data. That's very important. You should be sure about what you're talking. Now, don't bother that this is your first interview. I know this is your first main, so you have passed through. So the first interview also you will pass through, but we are not interested in you passing through. We are interested in you passing through with the flying colors. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. All the
Sir,
best.
thank you
Yeah.
for the time, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you, Shruti. This word social indoctrination, read about that. This may help in bridging that dowry and